Greetings, Director Arcto here. I'm redoing part 1 of my guide on how to destroy your enemies to their own rapturous applause because, well, something's been pointed out to me that just seems criminal to leave out. If you recall in my original attempt at part 1, I posed a question. What if you hated fat people? What if you really hated fat people? And then explain to you that if you really hate fat people and you want them to die, then there's no better way for you to do that than by embracing body positivity and stomping down hard upon fat shaming. In short, convincing the fat individual that fat not only isn't a problem for them, it's their very identity, something they have to defend at all costs, like, say, their personal health. Now, this may sound laughable, and how do you convince someone to do this? And yet, we know it's working. It's a proven strategy. If you want to know what it would look like in action, well, it would look a bit like this.
Hi, I'm award-winning fat activist and professional feminist killjoy Virgie Tovar, and I'm here today to talk to you about an epidemic that's affecting women everywhere. It's called CRFI.
Gads, that is terrifying. You know, I believe that she's a professional feminist killjoy, but I wasn't aware they gave away awards for fat activism. What an extraordinary thing. As you can see, this person is, well, actively applying the advice best given to people who want them to die. That is, they've embraced fat as their very identity. Let's see how that's working out for them.
If you're like many women, you've been to a birthday party or a small office gathering, an event that's meant to bring people together. There's swinging tunes, some adult beverages, and good convo. And then it comes time to cut the cake, and someone decides to ruin everything.
Oh my God, that slice is huge. That slice is bigger than Beyonce's paycheck. Can you cut me half of that?
A cake-related fatphobic incident, or CRFI.
A CRFI? Oh no! It ruins everything. Did you hear that? They're at a party and they're having great conversation, adult drinks, and then someone asks for less cake than other people. And that just ruins everything! What a miserable individual.
Is that moment when it's time to eat delicious cake and it's interrupted by a moralizing impulse. Inevitably, there's always someone at the party who has to declare publicly that their slice is too large and that the person who's cutting the cake, almost invariably a woman, must do some disproportionate amount of labor.
Wait. Really? Disproportionate amount of labor? That doesn't make sense on even the most basic objective level. After all, if you're, any calories you burn, figuring out how to cut a slice a little bit more to the left and right to make a slice smaller will probably be reimbursed, saved by lifting a much lighter plate with a lighter amount of cake on it. There's no disproportionate amount of labor there. In fact, she's insisting someone do more labor by always cutting the same amount of cake. But remember, we hypothetically hate fat people, and so must, of course, encourage this madness.
In order to accommodate their need to feel superior. Let's take a look.
Can you do a little bit, can you scrape all the frosting off and cut it in half and give me 2 forks, because I'm sharing. Small, a little bit more, tiny, no, less than what you're smaller, please.
Could you just cut my piece into
12 equal symmetrical little pieces and put each one into a tiny little Tupperware so that I can have a bite for each month of 2018. Thanks. Smaller.
Let's take a step back and view what's happening through a critical feminist lens. CRFIs typically happen in environments where there are primarily or exclusively women. Women are disproportionately negatively affected by diet culture because diet culture maps onto sexism.
Does it now? And see, it also kind of maps onto good physical health. But we're going to ignore that fact. But it's sexist and misogynist to eat right or to eat less sugary, fatty things. Oh dear. Keep in mind that we shouldn't really, if we hate fat people, discourage this line of thought. After all, in the long run, who suffers? Do thin, fit women suffer for this? Do men suffer for this? Does anyone else suffer for this in the long run except for them? They're the ones who are going to die of, well, weight-related cancer, heart failure, all sorts of wonderful side effects that come from being morbidly obese or greater. But you know, you all do you.
Like many parts of diet culture, there is a significant performance component. You have to show others that you are being good. Controlling how much you eat is part of what it means to be a, quote, good woman. This kind of behavior is a way for people to keep other people in check through food moralizing, surveillance, and policing. These are the mechanisms that are at the core of diet culture and weight control. The idea that you can position yourself as superior to others through self-control and self-denial is super sexist. CRFIs have a history of creating a hierarchy among women and ultimately in maintaining misogynist expectations. Watch how this woman demonstrates a different way to engage with cake. Thank you. No thank you. Practice just taking the cake slice you're given, or simply saying no thanks.
Mind you, they're calling for moralizing and policing, only instead of insisting that someone give you less cake, they're insisting that you refuse to give them less cake. You have to give them the exact same amount of cake. They're demanding it. After all, if you don't do as they say, it's not only fatphobic, it's sexist and misogynist and very, very ist in general.
Don't make other people be your cake nanny, because women already have too much on their plate.
Or not enough in this case, clearly. They couldn't settle for just one cake slice, could they? But hey, more power to them. After all, in our perspective as a person who hates fat people, that just means they're going to croak that much faster. But oh boy, what projection. How dare you demand only half a slice of cake? You, not man doing this, you other woman. How dare you, you other woman, you misogynist. And their solution is that you, if you're not going to take the whole slice of cake, must take no cake. No cake for you! You Nazi!
With a sexist culture navigating underwhelming romantic options.
Underwhelming romantic options. Gee, I wonder why that would be the case. I will say this with absolute confidence. The reason their dating prospects are so poor, the least important factor in that is their weight.
And an absurdly inexplicable pay gap. So remember, the next time that you're on the verge of committing a CRFI, be an ally to women rather than an accomplice to patriarchy.
That's right. Be an ally to women by encouraging them to eat as much unhealthy crap as possible. Encourage them to pack it in. Get that fat in deep. Swell those arteries. Harden them. For the sisterhood.
Because, after all, Patriarchy doesn't give a fuck about you, girl.
And neither does she.
It's so rich.
It's so rich. It's so rich.
It's so rich. It's so rich.
It's so rich. Okay, I think that was pretty good.
Oh boy. Well, there you have it. Encourage fat people to view their fat as their identity, and they'll kill themselves with it. If you want fat people to get better, feel better, and improve their lives, well, stay the hell away from the anti-fat shaming movement. Just don't do it. Don't do it. It's the only way to help them, if you wanted to, I guess. But if you do hate them, go hog wild. Monster. Oh, right. Before I wander off, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this ponderance of what it's like to truly embrace hating fat people, and how to encourage them to destroy themselves while being applauded for it as an ally to women.
Yes, bye-bye, dead man.
If you were drawn to this video by my collab with Magog, I appreciate you pausing to look at this new video. And I have to say, it was a blast working with Magog. Morskar is a lovely place, very scenic, except for the flora. Please do consider subscribing to the live channel, where I will be live with guests every Saturday, possibly just whoever turns up in the Discord chat. This Saturday, I plan to have Miss Midnight of Empire, the expert guest to help us understand some relatively recent incidents in modern vampirism. Until then, thank you for watching, and ostensibly, progress continues.
Technology, progress, innovation, Arcater Labs.